All right. Hey, I need your attention, please. All right, so a couple of things that we need to go over before our week of our friends starts. So remember, this week we are having the CTE program at the high school come down to talk to us about the different programs that they offer up there. Since you guys are more familiar with guest speakers and how all of this works, just remember our guest speaker norms, that wherever the speaker is, your shoulders should be facing the speaker. Your shoulders should be facing the speaker. Okay, lids need to be on that. We're not eating ice. Thank you. And there will be, part of the time it'll be over here and part of the time it'll be back there. So make sure that you're able to go back and forth. Let's talk about what's on your sheet real quick. So instead of your regular guest speaker form that you guys fill out, we have a different one this time because it's going to encompass everything that happens for the rest of the week. Mr. Lusk is going to get up here in just a second, and he's going to talk to you about the first little section. So his name is obviously Mr. Lusk. He is our CTE program director. He's going to talk to you about what CTE is, what an industry-based certification is, and he's going to tell you several different types or several different advantages of being in CTE. Okay. Underneath that are where you are going to list the programs and take notes on those programs. So you'll have the program over there on the left, the name of the representatives, how many years the programs that they are presenting take, and whether or not there is a certification, and then some businesses, local and national and international businesses that would fall underneath that category of where you could get a job. Would you go ahead and open it? Thank you. Of where you can get a job within that program, within that industry. Okay. Every day I'm going to have those programs listed and the people listed over there on that board. So today we have obviously Mr. Lusk, Super Lusk, yeah. Super Lusk. Yeah, we should. And he is going to be our first speaker, and then we're going to have an engineering program with a couple of guys come up, and then we will have our culinary arts to finish us off today. Okay, the sheets are over there. All right, so remember, is there any time in my classroom that I ever accept paper? No, I do not accept paper ever. So the fact that you're writing notes on this means what? That you're going to eventually have to put it into a computer program, right? You're going to eventually have to put it into a form, or I think I have a sheets that you guys are going to fill out this time. But the better notes you take, the better off you'll be, because you won't be getting that assignment until next Monday, because we're still having our programs throughout the week, right? And so if you don't take good notes, then you're going to have to remember what happened today, next Monday. Yeah, I can barely remember what happened 5 minutes ago. So we're just going to go with make sure you take really good notes, okay? I have already bragged on you guys that you're my favorite and that y'all are amazing and you ask amazing questions. And so I need you to be amazing and ask amazing questions and get involved in this, because these guys are super great. They took off school today to come over here. They're going to have to make up the work that they're not there for. And so that's a pretty big thing, because you guys know makeup work kind of sucks, right? Okay, so give them your attention and make sure that you are paying very good attention to what they are saying and not anything else. Okay, shoulders facing the speaker. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Miss White. Good afternoon, y'all. How are we doing? Good. Well, I'm really excited to be here, and our high school students are as well. You know, this is one of my favorite weeks of the year because This is an opportunity for you that's unique for y'all because you get this devoted time because you're in Miss White's class, you're in Project Success, or our Career Connections classes do the same thing. But this is the topic for this week. Really, it's not about these different career fields. It's really about you. That's what this is about. I went through high school. I graduated. I've been there and done that. But you're getting ready for high school. That's your next big step. And when you get to the high school, there's going to be so many opportunities for you to get involved. There's so many elective classes and programs you can take. And you're going to have more room in your schedule to take those classes. Here at the junior high, I hear sometimes you may have like 1 or 2 spots in your schedule for an elective. Well, at the high school, we have 8 class periods a day instead of 7. So that means on average, you may have 4 classes that are 4 electives at the high school. So you have 4 core classes, math, science, history, English, and then you have 4 other spots for other elective classes. Now, there's some required elective classes you have to take, like everyone has to have a year of PE, physical education. Some people do that through athletics. Some people may go through marching band and they get their PE credit that way. But the point being is that you have a lot more space in your schedule when you get to high school to make some decisions that are going to benefit you. So this is your opportunity. What we're going to be able to do, though, this week is you're going to hear from different CTE students at the high school. They're going to share some information about their programs and what they enjoy about them. So like what Miss White said, please soak everything in. If you have a question that's not on that worksheet, please go ahead and ask it. Keep us on our toes. You know what I mean? So let's go ahead and jump into this. Let's talk about CTE and what CTE is. But the first thing, obviously I'm wearing a cape because I am a superhero. That's my part-time job. So I figured I would come over and show you some skills. But I wanted to ask you, what is your favorite superhero? Think about it. What's your favorite superhero? And raise your hand. Yes, ma'am. Spider-Man. Why do you like Spider-Man? It's cool, isn't it? He can swing and all that. He can also climb on walls, which is really cool. But I'm afraid of heights, so I don't think that'll work out. Yes. Flash. That one. Okay. Yeah. It's one of those. You want to see me run to the cafeteria? Want to see me do it again? Yeah. All right. Anyone else? Oh, did I just do that? Oh, man.
Oh, hey, but I know you're not.
Oh, Lord. All right. Any other superhero fans? Wonder Woman's pretty cool. All right. So, y'all, there's so many fans. There's so many fans that we have, or there's so many superheroes that we have that you see in the movies or in comic books. But the neat thing about it, y'all, is that superheroes are all around us. They are all of those people that take care of us. If I go through, let's say I'm at home and something happens to my light fixture in the living room, like the ceiling fan, and it busts. Something's happened. I need an electrician. Well, I need that ceiling fan to be repaired, y'all. It's Texas. It gets hot. It gets hot in the summer. So that electrician coming in to repair that ceiling fan for me, that's a lifesaver for me. Same thing if there was a plumbing issue and maybe there was a leak under one of my sinks. Water's a bad deal. You don't want water in your home because it creates mold. It creates a whole big mess. So a plumber coming in, that's a lifesaver for me. If there were times where I was sick and I had to go to the doctor, the nurses, the doctors, the medical staff that helped me get better, those are lifesavers to me. So that's what I want you to think about when it comes to these different career fields. There are tons of superheroes all around us. So let's think about carpenters, for example. I think of those as, those are the construction folks. Those are the people that build our homes. They keep it safe. We don't want our home falling apart, right? That wouldn't be too fun. So these people help us in all sorts of ways. They are part of, building this area, building this spot when we renovated this area. I also think about, like I said before, our nurses. They're problem solvers. You come in with symptoms, they're going to try to find a way to learn more about what you're dealing with so that they can understand and know how to treat you. I also think about accountants. Anyone know what accountants are? Money people. So these are the people, super important, but they work with numbers a lot. They manage a business's finances or a person's finances. Super important, right? Because if we were here in school learning and let's just say the power went out because we didn't pay the bill, well, that's not really a good thing, right? We kind of need electricity around here. So these people are super important as well. And then I also, last example, I think about teachers. I had to give a shout out to teachers like Mrs. White, voice of reason. They always have your best interest at heart. So these are the people that motivate and influence young people like yourself, but I also want you to think about not only just classroom teachers, but think about coaches or think about maybe a manager that is training their employees. Those skill sets, you can use those skills in other ways other than just the classroom. So many examples when I think of superheroes. And the great thing is, y'all, when you're at Pine Tree, you get to learn these superpowers here. The thing is that you got to decide which superpower do you want to learn. And that's why you're in this class. And that's a good thing that you're in this class because you get to see some examples, hear from some of our students to make those decisions. So let's talk about what CTE is, Career and Technical Education. These are classes that prepare you for the real world and for college. Usually, they're all hands-on. Think about your cookie business. You could learn about business by reading about it, or you could actually do it. Y'all are actually doing it. So I'll leave that up here for a second, let y'all catch up. All right, how are we doing? We good? I'm gonna go to the next one. So another thing to think about is the length of time it takes to complete a CTE program. So at the junior high, maybe you start, maybe you did robotics, for example, in 7th grade, but then in 8th grade you're trying something else. You're doing Project Success. At high school, when you dive into, let's say, culinary, when you jump into culinary, you start your 9th grade year and you spend 4 years in culinary. Same thing for engineering, same thing for most of our programs. So you get to learn and get a lot of depth into this. So that ideally, in the perfect world, by the time you're a senior, a 12th grader, you're getting close to graduating, you may not even spend a whole lot of time in class. You would either come to school a little late or leave school early to go to work. So an example of this is our health science students, the students that are wanting to go to nursing school. They leave school early. They go to the hospitals and they work in the different departments at the hospitals. They go to different doctors' clinics and work and shadow doctors and nurses there. So we do that by the time, those students do that by the time they turn 12th grade. But you got to spend that time in class, 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. These are a list, and this is a lot of who you're going to hear from. This is our list of CTE programs that are going to be coming to visit with you this week. It really all depends on what you're interested in. If you are hands-on, you like fixing things, or maybe you like building things, our trades programs, we have a lot of options there for you, whether you're wanting to learn how to work on an automobile or troubleshoot an engine. Our HVAC systems, our air conditioning systems, really important, right? Because whenever those days happen and the AC goes out, it's kind of dreadful, right? Especially on a summer day, like that's a little much. So we need those HVAC technicians that know what they're doing to come in and help fix the air and heating systems. We also have creative and business programs such as our audio, video, and graphic design program. We also have business programs like entrepreneurship and accounting. Entrepreneurship is a lot of what you're doing right now with your cooking business. You're starting a business from the ground up. That's what you learn in entrepreneurship, is how do you start a business, and that's their whole focus. If you're interested in science and technology, things like that, we have engineering and robotics. You will hear from engineering today. Robotics will come a little later this week. And then we end with our public service programs for those that maybe want to be a nurse one day or work in the healthcare industry, or maybe you want to be a teacher, and so you would join the teaching and coaching program. Or if you want to be a coach, I know we have some student athletes that want to be coaches. So that's an area that we recommend. So this is all of our programs. We have something for everyone. So you'll get to hear a lot more about these this week. And here's a couple of benefits that I wanted to leave with you when it comes to CTE. The first thing is that you get to learn some skills that you will use for the rest of your life. Cooking is a good example for culinary, but I also want to use automotive. Let's say you go through the automotive program for 4 years. You're going to know how to change oil. You're going to know how to do some of those basic things to where maybe you would be able to troubleshoot your own car whenever you have your own car in the future, and you won't have to spend money going to take it to get repaired. On the cooking side, a good life skill is to know how to cook for yourself and for your family. So you could save money, and you probably will eat healthier by eating in rather than going out to eat all the time. So that's a skill right there that you'll use for a long time. You get to build some confidence in leadership. These guys are a good example, and all the students that you're going to be seeing this week, they are competing at the state level, at the national level, and we're excited to have them and have them kind of share their expertise. The other thing is you get to learn some teamwork. This picture right here, this is a group of our construction students, and I won't steal their thunder because I'm sure they're going to talk about it this week when they come. But they attended basically a 2-day build-off competition where they showed up. They were competing against, I think, 30 other schools. They were given some blueprints, and they had 2 days to build this little storage shed. They had to do roofing and all that stuff. And there was a role for everyone. So maybe if you're not the hands-on type that you're wanting to lift heavy things, they needed someone that was good at measuring and making precision cuts on the lumber. They needed a safety person. This young lady in this green vest, she was the safety coordinator. So she had to inspect the toolboxes, make sure everything was good to go. She had to do safety meetings with her team, and we were judged on that. Like that was part of the scoring criteria. So there's a place for everyone. You'll see that too whenever culinary comes up and speaks. They have leadership roles as well that you can participate in, especially as you are an upperclassman. And then the last thing is you get to leave high school. In most cases, you get to leave high school certified. And this is what I mean by that. This is what I mean when we say industry-based certification. This is what I mean. An industry certification is basically a test that you take, and when you pass it, it proves that you know a skill, right? I mean, it's kind of like, I don't want to use the STAR test as an example, but when you take the STAR test and you pass it, it proves, okay, you know 8th grade math, right? It's pretty clear. You passed the 8th grade math test. Well, there are certification exams that you would take as well. So if let's say I have a group of, I'm going to use you three as an example. Let's say I'm looking to hire let's do something crazy fun, like an electrician. Let's say we're hiring for an electrician, and I have 15 applicants. These 3 ladies are the only 3 that have earned a certification. They've earned a license for electricians. Do you think I'm probably going to interview them first out of the other 15? More than likely. I don't even know them. I haven't met them. I don't know what they know. All I know is I've looked at their resume. They have this certification listed. I'm looking for an electrician. They are licensed electricians. So I'm probably going to call them in for an interview. So it won't guarantee you a job. I may interview some other people, but it may put you higher up on the list. So most of our programs lead to some sort of certification. And I think that's all I have. I wanted to leave it leave a few seconds if you had any questions for me, and it's okay if you don't because I'll be here most of the week. But I do see a question. Yes, ma'am.
What are some advantages for being a CTE?
So the couple of advantages that we shared was number one, I would say you get to learn some good life skills in all of our programs. And then number two, I would say you get to leave certified. You get to earn an industry-based certification. And that's something that you carry with you and industry looks for. That's what businesses look for. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
What is an industry-based certification?
So that industry-based certification, it is a test that you take that proves you know a skill. Any other questions? All right. Well, we're going to switch gears. I think you're going to move to the next table that's below mine. Mine's a little different. And we'll start with our first group. I guess we're going to do engineering. Okay. So we'll have Braden and Dominic. They are two of our engineering students from the high school. And they're going to share a little bit about their program. And I'll turn it over to them. Who's speaking first? Just hold it and pass it over.
So I'm Brayden, this is Dominic. We'll be talking about engineering. The teacher for all the engineering class is Miss Swallow. If you do it all 4 years, she'll be your teacher. And then we got a video.
Prepare to innovate in the Pine Tree High School Engineering Program. Explore mechanical, electrical, civil, and environmental engineering. Experience CAD software, 3D printing, and cutting-edge technology. Engage in real-world team projects. Collaborate, research, and present to professionals, refining your skills. With a strong foundation in math, science, and engineering principles, unlock opportunities in design, management, and research. Engineer your future at Pine Tree High School.
So what is engineering? Engineering is the creative application of scientific principles, math, and technology to design, build, and improve structures, machines, processes, and systems that solve real-world problems. With our engineers, they're the people who make everything around you safe and that, like, make sure it's working, and they are the ones who supervise any project, whether it's building a house, building a car, or like installing lights or something like that. These are the types of engineering we'll talk about. Electrical engineering is computers, phones, anything electrical, the lights. Aerospace, it's anything that can fly, airplanes, rockets, helicopters. Nuclear engineering, that is anything that has to do with nuclear power, like nuclear power plant, the bombs, anything. Chemical engineering, that is taking elements or ingredients to make something new. Mechanical engineering, that is like parts, designing parts for a car, designing parts for like a robot or something like that. And then civil engineering, that's your roads, your bridges, and outside structures. And then these are the average salaries for each of the different types of engineering. And then engineers don't just come up with one idea, they think of a few and choose the best one based on the rules they have to follow.
Okay, so the first class you'll be taking is Introduction to Engineering. So what it is, it's a class where you talk about all the types of engineering, and you will do some activities like build the popsicle stick bridge, design a paper airplane, and create a rubber band car. And if you look over here, PLTW, that is a website that you'll be using for the rest of the year if you're in engineering. So basically, it's like Google Classroom, but for engineering. So that's where you take notes and all of your assignments.
So the projects, like a popsicle stick bridge, they won't look like this, but last year was you got 100 popsicle sticks. You had a certain amount, like a week to do it with duct tape, and it had to hold up at least 10 pounds for 5 seconds. And if you could get more, you get like extra credit or like a free 100. And then paper airplanes, you had to design your own paper airplane to fly the furthest. We also had a week to do this. You could make as many as you wanted because if you like one day goes far, you'd improve it. And at the end, we had 3 test runs and we see who could throw it the farthest. And then the mousetrap car. She's got one back there, but you'll get a mousetrap and you'll build like a car underneath it. And it looks similar to this, and it has a string attached to a bar, set off the trap, and then it goes, and you see who's can go the furthest. And then you have digital electronics. This is the one I'm in. This is electrical engineering. You'll learn about circuits and like voltage and power. It is basic, and then other than that, it's 1 and zeros, like that we'll use to create like circuits for your phone or the lights or some stuff like that. And then you'll learn how to calculate electricity to create a working circuit and accurately find the power running through them. You'll learn how to create and stabilize electronic circuits. And then real life examples is when the type of lights that when you clap they can turn on, video game controller buttons, and microwave buttons.
So the next class is Principles of Engineering. That's the one I'm in. And what it is, it's basically like introduction of engineering, but you get to do more hands-on stuff. So examples, you do more coding, more programming, and you get to make more circuits. And my personal favorite, you get to make like robots with Vex parts. And something that you'll use in this class a lot is the engineering design process, which is ask, what's the problem? Imagine, brainstorm ideas, plan, choose, and design the best solution, create and build a prototype, test to see if it works, and then improve to make it better. And so this picture right here, this is my robot. We did this, I think it was last week. Yeah. Last week we did this project with gear ratios and gear trains where we had to make a robot to see how fast and how slow it could drive. Yeah.
And then this is your final thing, capstone. It's the big final project. You'll get like a whole year to work on it. And that is, I think, the last class.
Yes.
And it'll be either by yourself or with a partner. And you'll create and design something, and then you'll present it in front of judges like Shark Tank. You'll try to tell them what it is, explain it, and like sell them on whatever you made. And then based on how good you do and how much they liked it, depends on how much money and scholarships you could get for college.
All right. So the last thing is TSA. So Miss Swallow brought TSA from Longview to Pine Tree. So what it is, it's an association. We have 40 events, and you have to choose 3 of them. And you get to go to regionals, nationals, and then what's the final one? There's one more. I forgot the name of it.
Regional, state.
And state and national, sorry. And so you get to choose 3 events of your choice. And trust me when I say this, there's something for everybody in here. So last year's nationals was held in Nashville, Tennessee, and then this year's nationals is going to be in Washington, D.C. So depending on how good you do in your event determines how good your scholarship is going to be. So because you get a lot of opportunities for good scholarships. And then the key thing is eligibility. Eligibility is really big in TSA because if you're not passing, you can't participate. And if you are in TSA already and you're failing, you can't get as many opportunities for scholarships. Any questions?
Have you any of y'all like took robotics or anything like that? How many of y'all actually liked it?
Wow.
All right, so 2. Well, if you've ever took robotics, robotics is part of engineering. Just you don't go to competitions or anything like that. You really just make the robot for like a problem, and then for each of these classes, I know for digital electronics, if we make a certain grade, we could get college credits. So it's like easier for us. And
I think that's every class, depending on
okay, well, depending, and then basically all engineering is you get a problem and you have to solve it with like a set rules that you have, like whether it's a cost thing, how big something could be, how much weight you can carry. That's you get a problem and you have to solve it.
So you have a question?
What businesses will hire
So we have Komatsu, Eastman, NASA, and military.
how would this have a role in
So you know how, for example, aerospace engineering. You know how the military has jets, helicopters, all that. So aerospace focuses on making the jets and all that.
Making sure they fly.
Yeah, and that's it. Making sure they're safe.
is there a certification?
Project management.
Project management and robotics.
How many years does it take?
4, but it depends if which type of engineering you're more interested in.
Yeah.
So like after introduction, if you like electrical engineering more, you'll go into digital electronics, and then you can either stop there or keep exploring more. It just depends if you want to take all of them or like which one you like more.
Any other questions?
Thank you guys. When they get switched up,
Yeah.
So engineers, y'all, I mean, everything, when you think about problem solving, you can use those skills in almost anything. You use the same thing starting in culinary. Let's say you have pasta dish and it comes out too salty or something. You have to reverse engineer it. Why is it too salty? Why don't you go back to the recipe? What do I need to change? I follow the recipe, but maybe the recipe's wrong. Sometimes that happens. So you use these skills as just problem solving. You use them all the time. Our next group is presenting is culinary, and Mr. Jacob is going to. He's one of our seniors. He's going to give a demonstration, and then he's going to talk a little bit about the culinary agreement country. He's been in it all 4 years, so and I think he's going to continue for year 5 next year in culinary school. So he has a lot to share. I'll just pass it over to him.
All right. So basically, while I'm talking to you guys about culinary today, I'll be making grilled cheese sandwiches for y'all. Starting off going into culinary, intro class should be it's a 4-year class or 4-year course. You'll be taking it from your freshman year to senior year. Some things that you learn while you're in there is stuff like basic knife skills, like management in the kitchen, preparing food obviously from scratch. More often than not, you'll be making things from scratch and not out of like box mix or anything. What that knowledge does for you outside of school is honestly just like making meals for yourself and stuff. Of course, the lights will dim down. Hold up right quick. All right. Some of the experiences I've had in culinary, my favorite thing that we've done since I've been in there is running the bistro up there at the high school. Essentially, the bistro is just a restaurant that we have up there in the high school. You have days where you don't have to follow the nutritional standards set by the government. And those days we like to open up the bistro and make something to serve to the other students that are on campus and stuff. Um, that will give you about as legitimate of a restaurant experience as you can get while being in high school, because there's separate parts to working in the bistro. There you can either be up front taking orders, work in the coffee bar, or in the back making the food or washing dishes, making sure the kitchen stays clean, things like that. Two certifications that you get. There's two of them. You get your food handlers, which is essentially after you complete that course on ServSafe and get that certificate. It's basically saying that you obviously know how to handle food. You're well knowledge on the temperature danger zone, keeping food safe, keeping people safe from food that has been contaminated, preventing the spread of foodborne illnesses. Um, oh, places that'll typically hire you with these things that you learn here will be any restaurant, food truck, kitchen of some sort. You could be a food critic, like Miss White was saying earlier. You could be a wine connoisseur if your palate is developed enough. Certain people are able to pick out certain things within a wine or within cheeses and stuff that make them more suited for those jobs than other people. Or you could be a TV judge like Gordon Ramsay or something. I think I'm missing something. Oh, snap. Okay. We also have competitions that you're able to take part in as well. The one that we're doing this year is Pro Start. I don't know too much about it, so I can't really just give you the full 180 about it. But you do get to do competitions, and that's traveling as well. We also cater different things around the schools as well. Up there at the high school, once a month we do teacher lunches. We basically make the teachers a meal for their lunch and stuff once a month. We have other things that we try to implement, like we do this thing called staff birthdays. Basically, we for a month, each teacher's birthday in the month, we try to make some kind of dessert or something to take to them for their birthdays and stuff as well. We help out with a lot of the staff appreciation days up there. And then there'll be times where either during the summer maybe or before or after school that they have y'all help out with things as well. Also a common misconception when coming into culinary is like, oh, we're going to be in the kitchen all the time cooking and eating and stuff like that. But obviously your first year, it's probably, well, they're trying to get it to where y'all are in the kitchen faster and more often so that, y'all don't lose interest in it, obviously, because, I mean, if I spent an entire year in culinary and not got to go in the kitchen, you lose interest. But there will be times where y'all just go in there to clean. There will be times where y'all just go in there to organize or prep for the next day. And I just say on those days, don't let it get you too down in the dumps because you're just cleaning. There will be days where you just go in there and y'all just be scrubbing dishes the whole class period. Intro, it's just whenever you take intro, it only takes up one class period. But whenever you get into culinary 1, practicum 1, and then practicum 2, it becomes a blocked class, which means it takes up 2 class periods, so it becomes longer. That's really just so we have more time to do the things that we're able to do, which is like the caterings, prepping for bistros. Has anybody been up in the press box at the football games or knows about it? We also cater the press boxes at the football games as well. We make the food that they eat up there. So that's something to look forward to if you really thinking about joining. Is anyone like in here know for a fact that they're going to do it? One. Anybody kind of leaning towards it? All right. I say it's pretty fun. I mean, even if you just like to eat, like even if you just want to be in there just to make you some good food, I mean, it's still a good class to take. to educate yourself on how to do things that you need to do when now you're out on your own, because hate to have somebody over. Imagine bringing someone over and they're like, oh, what's for dinner? And you pull out 2 meal for ones out the freezer, and they're like, oh, I thought you were gonna make something, and then you're like, oh, well, I never learned how to do none of that. Okay, that's not done yet. Does anybody have any questions? Maybe. Any questions? You said certifications. You get your food handlers and then your serve safe managers. I have my food handlers at the moment, but I have to retake my managers because it's expired. So, but it's pretty easy stuff. It's almost repetitive after a while, especially because you might have to renew it. If you go in your freshman year and you get your food handlers, you'll probably have to renew it your senior year because it expires every 4 years. But as you're going through the classes, it becomes repetitive, almost common knowledge and stuff for you being in that class. So, basically by the end of it, your teacher will be able to like, oh, what's the temperature danger zone? And you'll say it's 45 to 135. I think that's correct. But or they'll ask you what are the 12 food allergens, and you'll be able to list them all off and things like that. I will say one thing: working in a restaurant, as cooking is your job, but also keeping your customers safe is your second job, and they're both priority is the same, because you never want to be the reason why whole bunch of kids in your town get sick because some chicken was undercooked and now they all have salmonella, or you just left food out and now everybody in the town got E. coli or something.
Do you guys have any questions for Jacob?
Oh, one other thing I will say is if you're looking to get a letterman at all, you can letter in culinary through the competitions that we do. Please don't be burnt. Okay.